I'm going to get around to asking everyone here to make a financial contribution to support the church, and I'm going to be asking our internet viewers to consider becoming regular contributors to us as well. But I would like to just, as Soren Kierkegaard said, if you want to make progress in sewing, you have to tie a knot in your thread. I'd like to tie a knot in our thread briefly with you. In 2008, some friends prevailed upon me to try to start a truly progressive church that didn't have any fealty to denominations or to old creedal traditions, where we could really marry the academic approach to faith to an actual practicing congregation. Now, there were two things, maybe three, that really worked in our favor in 2008. I had a weekly column in the local newspaper that gave us a regular introduction to new people that could be invited to come join us. I had a handful of friends that were people of means that were able to finance the starting of a church without a denomination that would do that. We had maybe 5 or 6 different families that were able to make very significant contributions initially to get us going. And thirdly, I'd been in town long enough as a pastor in a denominational setting that I had some contacts and credibility within the city. So it's not like we could have done this just anywhere. You know, if people write and ask, well, how on earth is the most liberal church online located in Springfield, Missouri? Well, it looks like a miracle. It was an accident. And I think probably most miracles are about that anyway. But it just so happened that we had the right elements to make it happen here. The unfortunate thing, though, for us was that within the first 5 years, all of those major donors had passed away. And we found ourselves not able to pay the expenses of overhead of the operation of even a very small church. So we turned to our listeners and found that our listeners have been more willing than I deserve to sacrifice to support us. Some of our listeners send us as much as $500 and $600 a month. Some, I think the smallest regular donor is $1 a month, and we've got some $2 and $5 and $10 donors. But we have enough donors that we have just made it. We never seem to have enough in the bank to be confident of a future, but it's kind of thrilling, I guess, to stand at the edge of death, isn't it? It's sort of a thrill-seeking church ride that we always wonder if we're going to make it much longer. We now realize that because of the internet, we have something like satellite churches scattered around the United States, Canada, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand, where small groups of progressives gather to listen to our messages and discuss them. And as often as I can, I travel to meet with those small groups wherever it's possible. Now, we cannot afford to subsidize me to travel to places to pay travel expenses to go and introduce myself in person. So when I get an invitation to go speak, I do everything I can to make it affordable. I drive if I possibly can. I stay in church members' homes. I do everything I conceivably can to hold down costs. But we do have to ask those of you who invite me to come to recognize that there are some expenses involved in that. That being said, I want to let you know where I'm going to be in the next few weeks so that listeners can, if you possibly can, get out and meet me in person. I love getting to meet you and know who's on the other side of the camera. I will be speaking on Sunday, and you can write to me at reverend.drray@aol.com to get any of these details. But on Sunday, April 7th, I'll be at the North Anderson Community Church in Anderson, South Carolina at their 10:30 service. At 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, April 7th, I'll be the keynote speaker of the Anderson Forum for Progressive Theology. I have 2 lectures that afternoon with Q&A time, so I think the schedule is like from 3 to 6. I'll be talking about evidence-based faith initially, and then I will try to apply that in a talk about a second Bill of Rights. And I hope this will make sense in terms of orthodoxy and orthopraxy. On Monday, April 8th at 7 in the evening, I'll be a part of a small group discussion that we are opening to the public that will be in Pendleton, South Carolina at 802 Central Road. Then on Saturday, April 13th, the next weekend, I'll be repeating the lectures I did at the Anderson Forum at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Columbia, South Carolina. That's at 2701 Hayward Street. And we'll start at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon and conclude around 4. Then I will speak at their service on Sunday morning at 10:30. And Dr. Paul Tomlinson will be traveling with me, providing music at both conferences and at both church services. And Paul, being Paul, will also be involved in the Q&A. So that could be a heated event all by itself. I'll have all of these events posted on the Emerging Church Facebook page, or you can write to me at my email address for more information. In June, I'll be back in England speaking on Saturday, June 8th at the First National Conference of the Secular Liturgy Network, and that will be at the Exeter Library. And I'm still open to preaching somewhere if there's an open pulpit on June 9. Otherwise, John Churcher and I will be around in Exeter as tourists for a couple of days. But if you want to write to me about either an open pulpit or more information about the Secular Liturgy Conference, please do be in touch. We have an amazing connection of thousands of listeners around the English-speaking world, and we would have shuttered our windows and doors long ago if it weren't for the good listeners who have stepped out of the shadows to move beyond being simple spectators to being donors. And I want to thank you at this time for that. You can also become a monthly donor by going to the donate button on our website, spfccc.org, and click on the donate button. And when you donate, if you'll simply click on the repeat monthly, then you become one of my new best friends. Thank you for your support.